It's my final day here in Queenstown. It's been a truly remarkable visit. From the peak of the mountain to the bottom of the valleys, there's something to paint for everyone. But I felt the trip wasn't going to be complete without a visit to see the Kingston Flyer. It has undeniable charm and the potential to be something very special. So let's see how I go. One of the unspoken artistic elements is to create movement. We can place shapes in our primary, secondary, golden mean points, but then we also need to be able to get the viewer's eye to travel to different parts of the painting, so we're not just locked in. Might be the most interesting area, but we don't want to just lock them into that one area. But if you haven't heard, I host an online course on Patreon where we release 4 exclusive videos for our members every month, and you can sign up at the link in the top right hand corner. Anyway, back to the painting. So when it comes to getting the eye to travel through, it's normally done with our design, and sometimes subtle, or in this case it's going to be quite a strong element, and it's going to be the steam that's coming out of the train. So I'll use the shadow on the grass of the steam, so that will lead the eye from the bottom left into the foreground, the front of the train, and then we're getting to zigzag up into the sky. Especially being a vertically strong painting or a vertical painting, everything is in that format. So the trickiest part is getting the eye to move upwards but not get locked and stationary up in the background. So first we've got to block in that mid-distance and then bring the foliage over. It was a lovely little sort of bit of alizarin in that foliage, which I enjoyed using, because not quite often you don't get too much alizarin, but I think it's due to the cold climate. It does make the foliage and the type of foliage just almost sort of burn off a little, or require more antioxidant, I believe. So we've got that as a nice backdrop. We do need to get this sky in soon, but we'll just keep pushing on with this foliage. And we can definitely use our brush. So that's what I'm subtly doing. I'm using the brush to subtly move the eye around as well. And in the foliage, you'll see how I'm getting a rhythmic shape from the left-hand side. There's the little train station, then the highlight on the top of the train, and it's going to go up where the steam, and then another nice concave shape there, or convex, where it creates a nice little arch. This scene has some very strong directional lines, and that's why it's even more important. Anytime we do a street scene, anything with sort of buildings or any sort of mechanical type thing, they quite easily become quite stiff and tight, and so we do need to move the eye around. And I think one of the great exponents of getting movement in our painting, or his painting, was Charles Conder. He taught me quite a bit via studying his paintings, because where he would use his brush mark in a lyrical sense, a way of getting that eye to just subtly push it round. Of course, we have the train, which is almost like a chain of steel, and then we have the rope, which is almost the foliage, and then we have little bits of string, so it might be the smaller and smaller, can be the edge of the shadow from the steam, because we don't want everything all up to the same strength as well. So I'm doing slightly rounded brush marks just to help create that movement. So we've got the car park on the right. I think this train only stayed in place for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. So it was pretty difficult to paint it on the spot. So that's where, and it wasn't a practical spot to really paint from because it was kind of where the road crossed in behind me. Now this is one of the really big shapes that I'm going to use to move the eye from the top of the painting right down to our primary focal area. And there are little bits of bluey grey, so it's not all the same strength. But I always find whether it's a splash of light or, in this case, the steam, I'd like to go in fairly bold, allow it sometimes for it to tack off, and then come back in and refine it later, but have that almost exaggerated brush mark in early. Because it's very easy to tone something down, much harder to strengthen it. That's why it's so important to go stronger with our values and we can tone them down. There's a little bit of steam coming from, I think, one of the valves on the bottom left there as well, which I can put in later. Even the placement of figures, they are helping the eye travel from one shape, one area to another. And it almost creates, and what we're aiming to create is circular shapes. If you notice the shadow of the steam on the grass there, see how that's almost a semicircle, how it's kind of allowing the eye to come in from the left and it's pushing your eye to the front of the train. That's why if we're never aware of certain things with art, we struggle to really maximise our knowledge and skill and our paintings. But once we arm ourselves with as much education and information, that's when we really can push our work to its greatest level, greatest sort of impact, and make it a tour de force, hopefully. Just bring in a little bit of that light. And I just felt that foreground needed something. In one of the little, I forget what they call them, but it changes the track line. It wasn't actually there, but I saw one on the other side. So I thought, oh, that's a good little thing to remember if I ever need something for a foreground. Here comes that other little bit of steam. Once again, it's not as strong as the main one. That's more like the nice thick piece of rope. This is almost like the second one is like a piece of string. Just bring in a little bit of that yellow ochre and white. That's a pretty pleasing subject. It's got marvellous darks. It's got that beautiful movement, which I try to get into every painting where and whenever I can.